Hello, my name is Tabs. Welcome to. That sums it all up. Sorry, we shouldn't be laughing. We shouldn't be laughing. Well, we can do. It's the best therapy. Hello, this is Tabs. Welcome to episode 83 of the Grove podcast. I hope you're doing well, despite that shit show that we unfortunately witnessed earlier today. As I've been discussing with Ian, I find I'm not a happy man, and I very rarely get angry at Arsenal, but today's game has really tested my resolve, and I'm pretty pissed off, and it's a good job we're recording this 2 to 3 hours after the final whistle. Otherwise, this definitely would have been going in the X rating bucket of Spotify. So, look, there we go. We're going to try and see what to talk about it. I'm not sure anyone really wants to talk about it. We're going to have a bit of a chat about the game, and joining me today is as I've alluded to, Ian. How are you? How was your Sunday?
I'm not. It was better before 4:30. I'm good for the most part. I'm currently literally lying down after that. If you could see me, I'm in the paint me like one of your French girls poses, because I can barely sit up after that. But yeah, I'm okay.
It's very webcam, isn't it? Yeah, it's a bit like
it's very Kate Winslet.
Yeah,
I feel like I've got to start sending you credits, mate.
Yeah, we're going to put a phone number up, and people are going to. I know. I'm thinking Kate Winslet in Titanic, but
yeah,
but just more clothes.
Take me like one of your French girls. Yeah,
I'm going to start drawing a picture. Okay, and you heard there, Jamie. Thank you for joining us. How are you? And would you rather prefer to talk about Scotland and rugby than Arsenal?
Oh, by a mile, mate. That'd be much nicer. I mean, I still wouldn't even be that enthusiastic about it anyway. But yeah, it is what it is, isn't it?
Actually, so before we get into the football, why didn't they just kick the ball out at 80 minutes instead of trying to go for another try? What was the point instead of letting in a try at the end? What was that all that about? They played for 3 more minutes and then Wales go and score a try. And then, why don't you just kick the ball out?
Points differential's quite big at the moment for the race for third.
Oh, so okay, well, I'm pissed.
You give it a go.
Okay, because I'm pissed off because that might put Italy now in wooden spoon contention. Even if Wales haven't won a single game, they might get more points.
Incredibly unfamiliar territory for Italy, and also a team that you've given not one single shit for the entire tournament as well, mate. So yeah, no, zero sympathy, mate, at all.
Anyway, sorry, you have not joined egg chasing podcast. No, talking about that. We're going to have to talk about that performance and do a bit of review, try and get our head around it, and then look at more, hopefully, joyous times ahead when we play PSV on Wednesday. So, as I'm contractually obliged to, we do this for every pod. What was your highlight and low light of the game? I'll start with you, Ian.
Oh God, I'm gonna leave the few obvious ones for you guys. I'm gonna go with the Rice tackle as my highlight. The one where he stopped Highland, who took an absolute age to try and get the ball out from underneath his feet. Yeah, I'm just gonna say the Rice tackle because that was just an absolute guaranteed goal. Well, with Highland you never know, but yeah, it was pretty much a guaranteed goal. And my low light was the probably the most obvious low light of the whole season, and that was Raya's positioning for the goal, for Man United's goal. Yeah, I still can't understand.
Okay, you've preempted one of my questions actually, because when we talk about the goal, so do you put Raya partially at fault for the goal? Do you think he should have been, well, obviously more over to his left?
Yeah, I was shouting at the TV as he was setting up, like he had gotten his wall ready, and then he moved over to his right hand side, and I thought right, okay, he's just getting like he's looking around the wall to see what the angle is like, and he's going to move over any second now, and then he just stayed there. I was like, what are you doing? You could see it a mile away, and obviously the wall was too far away, but I put Raya down as a big fault for that. Yeah.
Jamie, do you agree?
Yeah, broadly speaking, yeah, it didn't look great. But See, the thing is, I was going to have as my highlight the way that Raya recovered and played for the rest of
Yeah,
the game.
that's I did. I was going to go with that
I
as a
think it's
highlight.
really hard, it's really hard to kind of lambast the man when
Yeah.
No.
you look at what happened to the rest of it, and
Yeah.
and on top of that, you've also got the little bit of controversy as well around the distance of the wall and stuff as well, haven't you? But I think certainly, for me, he did look a bit at fault for it, but my dear God, could have been another 3. Without it. Quite easily.
Okay, so go on, carry on with your highlight. Was there any particular save that was a highlight?
I mean, they're all sort of blurring into one, to be honest. But I think there's at least a couple where he's managed to pull them away with just the fingertips, and it was rather concerning a few times, and it felt like he was on the scramble. Defensively, we looked pretty weird. We really didn't look as organised as we do normally, and just actually it wasn't about organisation per se, because the way their chances were emerging wasn't so much to do with organisation, but rather when we were in that kind of scrambling position, we felt a lot more panicked than usual. I think that's actually what I'm reaching for. It didn't feel anywhere near collected, and we didn't seem to trust ourselves to recover. Except for Declan Rice with that fantastic tackle, which would have been my number one had you not picked it already, and instead I'll go with the Raya recovery.
and no, indeed. And any particular low light you want to pick out?
I mean, it's really hard to pick one, to be completely frank. I mean, I think Martinelli, when he had a good opportunity right at the end, and it just goes absolutely hails it wide, and that was probably the one for me where I just felt like this was the moment.
But he was offside. He was given
offside there. Yeah, it wouldn't have counted. Yeah,
that's right. He was. No, ignore me, because I'd completely forgotten that.
In a way, thank God he didn't score. Can you imagine?
I remember being incredibly upset. And now I was offside anyway.
My TV nearly ended up out the window. If only for I saw the linesman's flag, my TV was out the window.
No, but you're right. He should be putting that away, irrespective of where he's on. So he never knew he was offside. So he should put it away. And then before that as well, he had that chance. He went near post. Like we know, Onana's no great shakes, and you can put it anywhere in the goal, and often it goes in. But again, he should be shooting a cross goal with all the people charging in. But I was going to say actually that was a bright spark to actually at least have him coming back. But I think. It's sometimes hard when the team is playing a certain way. Someone comes in first game in ages and all the rest of it, expecting them to lift everyone, especially someone like Martinelli who isn't really a lifter of teams as such. So look, for me, I actually had Raya's last stick saves against Fernandez as a highlight. Also had the Rice tackle, but in terms of a highlight, I'm going to go. I saw on Blue Sky for Orbinho, and apparently Roy Keane said you never win anything with 10 draws. So he just posted Arsenal's invincible season stats, which were played 38, won 26, drew 12. so fuck you, Roy Keane. And in terms of my low light, I don't think it's a hipster one, but Rice's low light. Yeah, in terms of low light, Rice's celebration, I just did not like it. He went off celebrating. Now, granted, it was a good goal, but running towards the Man United fans, shushing the crowd, and all the rest of it. It's an important goal, but hey, we've done nothing yet. We haven't won the game. We've got a lot to do, and just small celebration. Acknowledge, then get back to the centre circle, kick off, and go and get the job done. And it just irked me a bit. And I'm not being a celebration police here, because it's you score a goal, you got to celebrate. But there's time and a place for certain celebrations, and it sort of reminded me. I don't know if you remember, was it Giroud against Bournemouth away when he scored a late equaliser, and he sort of celebrated, making reference to that sort of spectacular overhead backheel goal that he scored, and you could see like Sanchez going to him. So what are you doing? Just get back to the bloody centre circle. It's important. And this was pre-Bournemouth being good days. This was like, and it sort of reminded me of that. It said, I don't want to be celebration police now, but it just irked me. But I guess that was my general mood around the game. I don't think I actually hugely celebrated the goal anyway. Okay, so let's let's look at start off with the lineup. I mean, the only change, and I think a lot of people were maybe expecting it, was Calafiorian for LMS. Jamie, were you expecting anything else? Did you want to see anything else?
Not really, to be frank. Again, same over and over and over. I suppose. I mean, what I probably did want to see, I guess, is there's just nothing left as far as I'm concerned. I'm running out of ideas, of opinions almost. It just, honestly, it just feels like there's a kind of a bit of a void there where once there were opinions and engagement, and it's just kind of turned off a little bit in this game, to be completely frank. Wake me up when it's PSV. Wake me up in the next round after that. Like, who gives a
shit? Fair enough. Wise words. Ian, do you have an opinion?
what Jamie said? No, it is so hard when your squad is so depleted. It's hard to come up with new ways, and like we'll talk a bit about the substitutes later. I'm sure there are certainly things I may have done a little bit differently then, but when it comes to the starting lineup, we kind of have we've no bloody choice at the moment, do we? Well, you could, like, you know, there's a couple of things you may have been able to do, but would they have been any better than what we did? It's hard to know.
The one that, you know, we're short of opinions, like, you know, like our souls, everyone's got an opinion, and I've got one. So my one was, I wanted to see Jorginho over Partey, and I think it played out in the first half. So Calafiori coming in, I think, said after PSV, I think need to protect MLS a little bit, take him out of the limelight a bit, and so on. And it seems like it was the wrong call because Calafiori wasn't that great and didn't have much opportunity to be that great today. But the one was Jorginho over Partey, because I think Jorginho plays the ball quicker and he can be more direct with his passing and a bit more incisive. I just found, and I think we'll talk about this later in the game, Partey just slows the game down so much. And he has to take a touch, and then he turns around, and he just doesn't have that incisiveness. And we just knew today, Man United were going to be playing a low block, and I just find against low blocks, George, we can defend with three at the back. We don't need Partey chasing back. You know, let one of the fullbacks do the chaos thing, and then we just play 2-3 at the back. You don't need Jorginho or Partey covering. And just get Jorginho in there against the low blocks. I think he's just more of an effective player. That was the one thing that I wanted to see. And even though Nelly, it was nice to see him on the bench, even though he may not have had a huge impact. It was nice to see him on the bench because I think it was all a surprise for us. There was no pro indication about this. So, you know, again, gives us another option. So go on, Jamie. I'm going to give you another chance. What was your overall opinion, overall reaction about the game, about the performance, you know, either emotionally or tactically or anything? You know, how did it make you feel? What did you think?
I mean, for 44 minutes, I was reasonably happy, to be honest. It was all feeling all right for a bit. It was feeling a little frustrating, but quite positive. You know, we had control over the game. It didn't feel particularly panicky in a lot of those moments. And ultimately kind of felt like, right, we just need to keep knocking on the door here and eventually it's going to come. And my God, I wish we had a fit Saka and a striker. But, you know, there were nice moments, and certainly when Yeri and Odegaard were kind of combining a little bit at times, and that looked like it might eventually go somewhere, even if it wasn't necessarily penetrating a great deal. But yeah, and then ultimately second half, it just, you know, starts with the goal before half-time, which is just, as we've said, it's pretty naff. It's pretty horrendous. It's also Bruno fucking Fernandes as well, who is a player that I just cannot stand conceding to. And then, obviously, second half, it just all felt a little bit inevitable, to be honest. I'm surprised we scored as early as we did, to be honest. I kind of felt like we were going to get one. It was going to come from, you know, it just didn't really feel like it was going to be a game where we were going to take it by the scruff of the neck. And the fact that we, in fact, gave up so much control in the second half and it was so panicky, and arguably, I think we could have lost that by a couple of goals. That's what was really concerning and not very nice to watch at all.
No,
I understand they went in having just scored before half time, and they would have come out feeling on top of the world and feeling like, yes, we can have these. But no excuses, really. They're not that good.
No, and look, it's telling when Raya is potentially our man of the match. You know, that says a huge amount. Ian, what were your overall thoughts on the game, the performance, the result?
Yeah, very similar to Jamie. Like we had the horseshoe of death thrown in our faces again, and the familiar patterns that we've seen. Thankfully, we thought we'd gotten rid of them during the PSV game, but it's starting to look more like that. The PSV game was the outlier rather than an upturn in performance. Like we are a low scoring team at the moment. For obvious reasons, and we just simply can't afford to be throwing goals into our own net. Now, I know that might be a bit harsh and maybe a bit overreacting. I was talking about Raya, his positioning and whatnot, but the free kick was silly to give away from Trossard as well. And by the way, just to say, I picked Raya as my low light, but he was our best player on the pitch. In fact, he's been our best player this season, and we would have lost that game today only for him. It was just unfortunate the way the goal went in, but. Yeah, our press has gone. It's I think we miss Havertz quite a lot for that. The relationships haven't been there. I don't think they came back again for PSV, but the relationships that we're used to that create stuff for us has just disappeared. And like Man United had 2 days, or sorry, we had 2 days extra rest on Man United as well, and it looked like nearly the other way around at some parts of the game. So it was just really disappointing. It was a real opportunity missed, I think. Very frustrating.
Yeah, no, I agree. Look, I'm not sure where to start, but my overriding feeling is we have to be beating this Man United team. I mean, they are so bad. They really are shit. And yet we contrived not to be able to beat them. And look, they're suffering with injuries worse than us, I would suggest. The crowd was protesting today and there was zero atmosphere. We shut them up. Even you could hear the Arsenal fans were saying, is this a library? Which is, ironic, considering where we've come from. Yeah, they had no intention of attacking. And somehow, we contrived to not do anything of note. We were toothless. Again, it was very, very meh. Just not creating anything, and then it just got worse. And I don't know what it is about playing a crap Man United team at Old Trafford, and we should be, even with the team that we had, we should be put into task. And we seem to be the opposite of kryptonite to them. I don't know what it is. They somehow, and I don't think today was a case of playing the badge. I think today was just a poor performance that got worse, and the timing of the goals. And I don't know. And maybe the way Man United set up, and it's good that for us, it's good that they're playing them, because they are a mid to lower table team. So they come and play us, who are a better team than them. And they low block, and then they defend well. I mean, we make it easy to defend against, but they defended well, and they think, okay, we try and get something on the break. But the problem is that we think they're really shit, is because when they come against teams that they traditionally should do better against, then they've got more holes in their midfield than a wheel of Swiss cheese, and they are terrible. But they never do that against us, because they think, well, if we do, then they're going to get taken apart. So actually, they play like them, and we just, at the moment, we just cannot do anything about mid to low blocks. Unfortunately, PSV, and I think this happens in Europe more. We played perfectly against them, but then again, football is all such a fine line. They hit the crossbar and then we go ahead and score 7. Today, Man United have the one shot. I think it was a 0.1 xG, and rare mispositioning, 12 yards away from the wall. And I don't know. Did you think he was going to score? I said to my son, to Gianluca, I said, this is the perfect distance for up and over and in for someone like Fernandes. Was this not one like, whereas our free kick, we all knew it was going to hit the wall. They spent 5 minutes setting up a free kick to go and hit the wall. It's like, did you have any confidence? Were you thinking when Fernandes stepped up that this has actually got a good chance of going in, Jamie? Were you like fairly, pessimistic?
I don't know. I can't say I thought too much about it at that particular moment. I think particularly because it was just going on for half time.
Yeah.
It just sort of, at that stage, I'm just like, well, that's it. We're going in at 0-0, aren't we? I just sort of written off any goals having occurred in that first half at that stage. So no, it rather took me by surprise, to be completely frank. But when you look at it, it's perfect distance for a strike, and he's done well with it. But I don't know.
I mean, there's a couple of
times that we've seen people get beaten at that place at bloody Old Trafford as well by from that kind of distance, and a free kick as well, isn't it? Talking of history, by the way, before I completely forget it, my favourite thing was just going to Old Trafford and trying to do the Paul Scholes volley with Declan bloody Rice, which was genuinely one of my highlights of the game that I'd completely forgotten. Just felt phenomenal. That did.
It just needed to get over the ball a bit, but almost. I don't know. I mean, he even had time. I think the Man United defence was so rubbish. He even had time to take it down and set up an easier shot. But
the commentators on Sky kept on going on about, we don't score goals from set pieces anymore. So nice to see that Jover's getting really creative and going, let's do the Paul Scholes versus Middlesbrough 1999 special.
And we actually tried something different. We tried a few short corners and stuff like that, but also there was a couple of times this again bugs me, like, when you see if you see the stuff that happens in the box, like the Gabriel getting pulled down by, I think it might have been Lindelof or De Ligt. If that was a forward doing it on the defender, that's a free kick all day to the defender. But when it's the other way around, I don't know, the bar has to be different. I think even Gary Neville mumbled something about, Gabriel threw himself to the ground sort of thing. So I don't know, but I just find there's a bit of double standards there. But with the Bruno Fernandes free kick, again, I think the positioning of Raya, I think he scored a free kick against Everton a couple of weeks back, and I think he did one of the like Beckham whips it. Sorry, my Italian.
That's okay. All right, Tabs. It's okay.
my Italian hands knocking over the microphone. Sorry. He whipped it across into the other corner. So maybe Raya had that in his mind. But also, was it the statistic? Bruno Fernandes has scored a direct free kick in two of his last three games against two of his last three Premier League games. He hadn't scored a free kick for 183 appearances. This is the Arsenal season for you. This is just, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. And the vagaries, like the 12 yards back. And so yeah.
For me, the film Final Destination, where you can just see something happening. I honestly, I was shouting at my TV again, like just at Raya, and why are you standing there? I could have recorded that in my mind, exactly how it happened. You could see it happening a mile away.
Yeah. So, I mean, Arteta was asked for the umpteenth time about a striker and interviewed, and he was rightly getting just pissed off with the same question and all that. Do you put our perform and I'm pleased he said no, it's got nothing to do with not having a striker. Do you agree? I mean, he has to say it, but I also think he believes it. Do you think the performance today was as a result of not having, a striker? Or is that just easy to say? Easy to say, and it's something deeper than that, Jamie.
It's a piece of it, right? 100%. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that's a big part of where we've been for several weeks now. Is that there is a lack of a number 9 inside. So yeah, I mean, I think I at least interpret what he's saying there is that I think he's tired of the conversation, right? Which is understandable. And B, I think he's saying, look, I expect more of my players to do better in that game, regardless of whether there's a recognised striker there or not. And again, I've got time for that as well. So, yeah. But yeah, I don't think. I think if you were to sit and talk to a calm and collected Mikel Arteta about deficiencies in the team that might be leading to some results at the moment, then yeah, more than likely he would admit that the striker position is an issue. Yeah.
No, I agree. And in terms of is there anything? What could we have done different? I don't know. How could we, especially in that first half? we were so dominant, but it was sterile domination, and we've been here before, and look, even with our best teams, we've struggled to break down low blocks. So I don't know what is it that we could have done differently just to try and get a different result, or try and force the issue a bit more. What else could we do? I don't know. We just seem to be content in terms of the way we were playing, but going nowhere with it. And then you're always subject to the vagaries of football. And then all of a sudden they get a goal, the crowd's lifted, they're lifted, and then our confidence is very quickly shot. And we saw the second half that we saw. What did, I don't know. Could we done anything different?
Like I think we could certainly have been more urgent and taken like a lot more care. I find our individual, like in moments where we have chances, the individual quality is lacking, and it's lacking with players who have incredible individual quality. And it drives me insane because Martin Odegaard gets into some great positions, Trossard can get into some great positions, and they just seem to fluff their shots. They have like the softest feet in the wrong way when it comes to shooting, and I just think we of late the players have really lacked, like, just, I don't know, a bit of composure. I don't know what you want to call it. Like, again, at this moment in time, because we're playing without the strikers or without too many attacking players, we have to make the most of the chances that we create. Of course, we have to be careful not to throw it in at the other end, as I said. But the players just seem to, when they get into those positions, they need to have, like, just calm down, calm your mind for that split second, and be a bit more. Have a bit more quality about you in those moments. Like, tactically, I mean, I hate listening to Gary Neville. I listen to most games on mute, but he did say something in the first half today that was correct. He said that we're the best team in the league up to until we get to the final third. We get the ball up the pitch very, very well, but in the final third, we're just so toothless at the moment. It's very frustrating.
Yeah, toothless sounds about right, especially with toothless against teams that don't allow you the space that teams like PSV do or Tottenham do or like that. I mean, we had 17 shots, but six of them on target, but none of those shots you really thought, maybe the Martinelli one near post, okay, it's a good save and that's it, but there was nothing there. I know, yeah, I think we need to be taking more care with those opportunities. I think we created a few, and I think there was a few in the centre of box. I think Trossard and Odegaard, I think they both had opportunities. But yeah, I think the word there, intensity and intent, just something there. Just, I don't know, we just seem too comfortable, too safe, and yeah, and I think we're too pleased with ourselves sometimes. Domination means nothing unless you do something with it, and it just feels sometimes we're just too comfortable, and we don't really look for that. I know it's not even about a killer pass, but it's just doing something with a bit more urgency. And we had a lot of almost moments. There was a few times where the ball was being dinked over the top, but those balls are quite easy to defend against. So unless you're getting it perfect and you break it perfectly, the looping ball over the top, everything just is a bit Goldilocks. Everything has to be timed perfectly. The run, the pass, the defense. Yeah, and if it doesn't, then it's easy to defend. And I think we do that too much. So, and that's why I think the goal that we scored was good, because Timber did something a bit more direct, a bit more, and I think Man United were tiring at the time. That helped, and Bryce was free on the edge of the box, and again, a decent shot, I think a decent setup, and there just wasn't enough of that, and it's just all in front, all easy to defend against, and we can't do much about it. And I think, like you, Jamie, the first half, okay, fine, going 0-0, fine, not brilliant, but we'll go in and let's see what happens second half, and then I think the goal just lifted them and killed. And killed us, and we got. I don't know, Jamie. Do you feel like we just? It felt like we got worse in the second half, and actually, Man United had the better chances.
Oh, very clearly, yeah. I mean, there's absolutely zero doubt for me. We were worse in the second half. They picked up and had better. And it sums it up. That is the second half. It felt like. I mean, it definitely felt like. I mean, part of that is going to be they got a huge boost before halftime, 100%. That's a massive thing. We all know how big a goal is at halftime, but for whatever reason, I mean, I really thought we would come out all guns blazing, and it really didn't feel like we were at that at all. It just feels like it's just not in the tank at all. And I suppose maybe it is that little bit of a percentage that since it's become, essentially impossible to win the league, which has been a few weeks now, maybe it is just that little few percent that at the very, very top level, mentally, physically, pushing your body to limits that it doesn't normally have, and pushing your decision making and all that kind of stuff, the kind of stuff that high performance athletes do under pressure, that they do better when they're under pressure. I think that might be gone maybe in this competition because there isn't a huge amount of pressure. Forest are following behind, but it's 4 or 5 points. It is getting a little bit close for comfort, but it probably isn't, at this stage at least anyway, all that close to them. And actually the difference between second and third isn't necessarily all that big a deal either, let's face it. There's not really a tangible difference in the outcome of your season unless you drop in as far as, fourth and fifth. So, for me, maybe I think that's what I'm kind of assuming at least. I had that feeling in that second half that these guys just don't have that extra few percent to compete in this game at the moment, whilst United, on the other hand, had the bit between their teeth and, can smell blood a little bit. With the exception of, a couple of players, which, Declan, again, it's not a case of them not trying and lack a percentage of effort being put in. It's that little bit extra that just increases your performance levels.
Yeah, the urgency, the need and stuff like that. Just that, that desperation, but in a good way. We're desperate.
Right? There's no positive pressure, I don't think, on them at the moment.
Yeah. In terms of points, so we're 4 points above Forest. We've got a 16 goal difference, so basically 5 points above Forest, and Chelsea 6 points ahead of them. So actually next week's a big game. But then again, I don't expect Chelsea can't low block, so I'm a lot more confident against Chelsea because, they can't low block for love nor money. So 6 points above them, and actually, I think actually, and then City are 8 points behind, and again we've got bigger goal difference on them. So I'm not. Forest yesterday's win was their first win in 6. So I think they'll be up and down. I think teams will be taking points of each other. So you're right. I still want to finish second. I want to make sure that you want to finish as high as possible. You get more money for it. It's just more kudos, and okay, we're miles off Liverpool 15th, 15 points. I still want us to be as high as possible, and it would annoy me if we finished in third, sort of thing. So, but you're right. It's just hard in that moment to have that. That positive pressure, that desperation, we have to, I think desperation there to get the draw. But then, so like second half. So look, first half, totally dominant. Freak. I don't want to say freak goal, but just just a goal in well, I don't know the numbers, but just a low percentage goal. And then, okay, we started off the second half. Odegaard had a shot. Rice had that volley. But then it was, the first of I think it was 3 key saves from Dalot running in at the far post, and Raya got a foot out to it, and it went wide. We equalised. I said Timber did really well. Great shot by Declan Rice, and he's now so one stat from that, he's now scored as many goals for Arsenal as Emmanuel Petit. So there we go, and I'm sure he's going to break that record. And then Martinelli had the chance. He should have gone far post, but he went near post. And then it was the Rice tackle. Thank God it was Højlund. He instead of taking the ball out of his feet and going left, he brought it inside and gave Rice the chance. And Rice did well. I think. Do you think, Ian? Do you think Rice is an emotional player by the looks of things? Because he even celebrate. I know there's this habit now of celebrating defensive duties, but do you think Rice is too emotional?
Yeah, I do. I see where you're coming from with it. Like, you have to have some emotion on a pitch. Like, you have to have that kind of edge to you. And like, I'm 50-50 on celebrating a tackle like that, because like, if that goes in, we lose. So Declan Rice knows he's probably saved the team. Like he's made a game not winning, but a preventing a game losing goal there.
Yeah, it was in the 85th minute. Yeah,
yeah. Like it's so I do get it, but at the same time, without sounding like Roy Keane, that's your job, and you're expected to do that. He's one of the best sixes in the world. I know he's not playing as a six with us really, but yeah, I'm 50-50 on it. But even. We spoke about him playing against West Ham. Yeah, I do see where you come from about him being a bit too emotional. But again, Rice is very young as well. Still, you forget that he's still quite a young player, and I think he'll learn to kind of manage that a bit better. Not that it's out of control or anything, but
yeah, I don't know. I just don't know if it affects him and stuff. I think the West Ham game, I think it got to him, and he just wasn't performing, and I don't know. You just see the very best players. There's emotional in one sense, but it just seems, I don't know. There's something there. I don't know. It's hard to put my finger on it, but just again the West Ham game, the way he celebrated the goal, and again I'm not calling him out in a negative way, but just saying like, is it something that he can control? Or does it need to be controlled, or am I just trying to find something?
I would say,
am I just looking for something that isn't there, and it's just like move on, nothing to see here?
I would say that he's probably more emotional than most, but he's not too emotional. I don't think he's too emotional.
Yeah, he doesn't lose control with it, so it's not emotional and he's out of control emotion. But I think his mood affects how he plays in terms of that. That's maybe more where I'm getting at. It's I don't know, just something there. So look, you want personalities, you like personalities, you like to see the emotion, you like to see that stuff, but it's just if it starts to impact how he plays, and you sort of want more sort of steady state type stuff, but maybe it's nothing. It's just a couple of things that you notice is worth calling out. And then in the 87th minute, again near post, Gabriel did a great defensive piece over Højlund again, and then in the 94th minute. That I was thinking goal. I don't know, Jamie, when Fernandes comes in, goal. I was thinking 2-1. That's it. You're coming in centre spot. Oh no, penalty spot.
Yeah, 100%. It's all over at that point, right? That's what you're feeling, at least, anyway. I mean, there were at least two of those moments, right?
Yeah.
So but yeah, 100%. I was fairly convinced that was good night.
Yeah. And then I felt he could have caught, instead of palming it away, I felt he could have actually caught the ball in the second time he got up, but maybe a bit too harsh. Maybe too harsh. But and then just again, Ian and I were talking about this pre-recording that just again sums up the game. We have a free kick. Last seconds of the game, it's the dying embers. You see it's gone down to 94, but it's going to go to 94-30. Free kick, just get it in the box. Get it in the box. No, guess what we do? We play it short. Oh, and then we finally get in the box, and then he blows out. I don't get it. I don't understand it. It's just like right off. I don't need to hear anything from Neville and co. But it's
that was very frustrating, and just to say as well, like as you said, Tabs, we were talking about it just before we started recording. I was screaming at the TV because I could see Declan Rice looking at, and I still can't remember, was it Tierney or whoever it was that he laid the ball to. I saw him looking at him, and I was like, don't you dare play that short, because Anthony Taylor's going to blow the whistle. Like he loved nothing more. And I urge everybody to go back and look at the footage, because Rice does play it short, and Anthony Taylor's hand is down by his side, and when he plays it to whoever it was, he puts the whistle to his mouth, and for some reason takes it back down again and lets the play unfold. And when I saw that, I thought, when I saw the whistle go to Anthony Taylor's mouth, I thought he was going to blow. And again, for the third time, my TV nearly went out the window. I was screaming like, "Don't you dare play that short!" And he did. It was a weird thing to do. It was a weird thing to do.
Yeah. And talking to Tierney, that was the most. Now, this isn't Tierney's fault, but that did not work at all. That made I don't get that. I don't. I sort of get it, but it made us worse. Marino all of a sudden, forgot how to play midfield and gave away the Højlund chance and offered nothing, dropping back into the left eight. Tierney, I don't even remember getting the ball, and we would have had plenty of time. And look, Rice scored in the 74th minute. There was still 20 minutes after that. We created nothing after that. You would think, okay, we've got the goal, let's get back, and well, we just said it's again, apart from the Martinelli chance, it was 3 opportunities for Man United. Jamie, did that Tierney substitution make any sense to you? Or yeah,
no, but it hasn't made sense any time that we've done it of late. So it feels like just chucking a body on for a bit again, doesn't it?
I know, but how I mean, look, we all diss on we'll shit on Sterling, but what does it say about have you've got a Sterling on the bench and can play left side, right side? Okay, he's not been great, but that's his job. And then you put. Even Zinchenko has been coming on recently and stuff. So I don't understand. Right, fine. Get out to him, bomb down, get crosses in the box. He didn't. I don't think he did that once. So I didn't understand that one. That was a brain fart as far as I'm concerned. That one, it just made no sense to me. So
no, I mean, if you said to me, could you have 2020's Kieran Tierney come on, then I would absolutely be bang up for it and expect him to have some sort of impact. Unfortunately, 2020's Kieran Tierney is not the Kieran Tierney that we experience whenever he pulls on an Arsenal shirt now. So yeah, it was particularly odd. But same goes for Raheem Sterling. If you even gave me start of last season's Chelsea's Raheem Sterling,
oh yeah,
I'd happily suggest bringing him on, but either one of the two is not really particularly going to help you in this particular situation. So yeah, all of it's a bit of a muchness, and it just maybe it was just a case of just get some other legs on, get somebody else that's not playing again in a fixture that perhaps isn't necessarily the must win for us anymore.
Yeah. I mean, just how do we not beat it?
To throw like one little thing, I agree with both of you on Kieran Tierney. Like it's a sad state of affairs when we're at the business end of the season and our attacking substitution, what he chooses is to bring Kieran Tierney on. But I think he may have been one of Kieran Tierney's strengths is crossing the ball, and I think Arteta. The only thing I can think of is that he thought, right, we'll get the big guys, we'll get the likes of Marino, maybe some of the defenders into the box, and because he can swing in a lovely cross, but that's me, like kind of, scraping the barrel. And he did have that one cross, ironically along the ground. Now, to be fair, for Trossard, he put in a good cross for that. But it's just a sad state of affairs to be doing that.
Yeah. So, I mean, as I think we said, like Raya, I think up there, man of the match. I think Rice. The one good thing about recently, Rice has come out of his shell, emotionally or not emotionally, but as a player, he worked so hard. He scored the goal-saving tackle, bright light. I think Saliba and Big G, at the back, solid. I don't think they were at fault for anything in terms of the opportunities that we gave up. But anything else you want to call out in terms of performances, good or bad? Jamie? Or Ian? I don't care.
Go on, Jamie. I'll let you go.
He doesn't care either.
No, I mean, what else? It was all a bit meh. And there were some individual moments, but nobody really stood out. And probably Declan Rice and David Raya are the two that were the closest to man of the match for us, right? Because of their individual contributions in key moments. More so than having... kind of dominant performances or anything like that. And it's, maybe that's a little bit of a positive that you take from the two of those is that they stepped up in a lot of particular moments.
Well, one thing that I noticed, I wrote down was Rice, again, a bit like he did at PSV, was being a lot more getting into the box, in and around the box, being an option. So, so he was actually trying to be on the receiving end the first couple of these clips into the box. So I think that's a definite tactical thing. Then, and he's done a lot more as being a bit more. We're needing to get more bodies in the box. So yeah, you're right. It was good to see. Ian, anything you wanted to call out or add?
Just two very quick things we kind of touched on earlier on. A little bit worried with Calafiori and his defending. Like the last two Premier League goals we've conceded have come down his side. and should be preventable. I love him going forward, but I just I don't think he's been amazing going back towards our own goal. Really, this is unimportant. Two little stats that we could have done today, that even though they're not really important, but at the same time, they are little things to hold over a big team like Man United, and even for the team to hold on to. And that was one being, you guys will know these. One being that if we won today, we would have been the first team to beat Man United in 5 consecutive Premier League games. No team has ever done that before. And also the one that flashed up on the screen that this is stupid because it's just a little thing for me, but the fact that they went 1-0 up, so no team had ever come from behind to beat Man United at Old Trafford since 1985, 84, something like that.
Yeah, some ridiculous number of games,
which is outrageous. Like it's an unbelievable stat, and I was like, I just really wanted to bloody do that,
So what you're saying is that we almost got a couple of good stats, but we didn't.
No, I'm not saying that I'm glad that they were there, but I'm saying I'm annoyed that we didn't do them.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. No, you're right. That would have been good. Yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah. It's like,
I've got some pointless stuff to mention at the end as well.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, I called out Partey, slowed it down, and Trossard's been really good of late, but he just had one of those Trossard games. Waneri, he seems to be one game on, one game off, which is a 17-year-old. That happened, so you're not going to call him out for it. I said Odegaard faded, and Calafiori, even in the first minute he did that. He grabbed that Garnacho in one of their first breakaways early on. Something that needs to be worked on, and I think maybe the risk and reward is what we're working on in terms of that one, but we didn't get any reward for the risk today. So a couple of things just to it might annoy people or not, or like, who gives a shit? It doesn't make any difference. Is like, so that's, again, we haven't lost to a traditional big six team, so we're still doing all right from that perspective. And here's one on Arteta, is that, so this was his 200th Premier League game in charge, ever, because we're his first job, and he's got the 5th most wins after 200 games in the Premiership over all the managers that have managed in the Premiership for that amount of time, which is, considering it's his first job, considering the shit show he took over, considering the shit show he's got at the moment. Again, people may not want to hear it, but it's a bit of kudos to him for that, and I think we can still appreciate that, even though it doesn't really help with the mood today. But this one might. He said on Bukayo Saka after the international break, let's see where he is. His progress is really good. He's really willing, as you can all imagine. We're positive that in a few weeks he'll be back. So fingers crossed that he'll come back and rescue our season, and we'll win the league. And 15 points, no problem. Look, before we move on to a very quick PSV preview, obviously this week the news broke, I think it was Thursday, that Berta is expected to join Arsenal as the new sporting director sometime in the next few weeks. And just wondering if you guys had any opinions on that, heard anything about it, know anything. Just Jamie and any thoughts on that, Jamie?
No, I mean, I had a little bit of a look up at who he is and his record at Atleti and stuff like that. Been interesting to check out that there seems to be a lot of noise from Atletico fans that he wasn't their best director of football, which is kind of interesting. But yeah, don't know a huge amount of him, but just the main thing is it's just great to have somebody in role, right? It feels like it's been a missing piece for us. So I almost just feel like the announcement of somebody is a really, really important thing, more so than having any kind of understanding of who that person is and their suitability for the role in the Arsenal.
So you're saying a body's better than nothing?
I mean, to an extent, yeah. I'm not gonna lie, mate. Like, it feels like we could probably do with somebody to step up and be accountable for recruitment, right? At the moment, we don't have somebody who is accountable for recruitment. We have somebody responsible for it, but we don't have somebody whose job is on the line for it. So it feels like it's been a missing piece. So we need to have that going into the summer.
Yeah, no, definitely. Ian, any thoughts?
Yeah, and it's important to have somebody in place because it's going to be a really, 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 really busy summer. I'm just looking here at some of the players that he's bought and sold. He's had some hits and some misses. Like he signed Griezmann from Sociedad. Interestingly, he bought Rodri as well, and he bought him for 20 million and sold him for 70 to Man City a year later. So look, we'll see. I'm no expert on directors of football or anything like that, but it is great. It will be great to have somebody in place for what's going to be a really, really hectic few months.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see actually what his role is, what his expertise is. I think he comes from a banking background, but then took up scouting and sort of worked his way up through Italy. I think Parma and Genoa, maybe. I'm thinking, and then got a job at Atletico Madrid. And the interesting thing, I listened to a pod about him, and I was with an Atleti sort of fan media type person, and the interesting dynamic was that working with Simeone, but actually one of the people that made most of these sort of decisions around recruitment was Hill, who was like, I don't know his role. He might have been the owner, or he might have been CEO, whatever, or managing director, whatever. So he a lot of his role was talent scouting and scouting. So he may not have directly been the person signing, but he would be the one working with Simeone and Hill to identify who to get, and then it'll be someone else actually finishing off the deal. So it'll be, the expectation is, right, he's going to come in and he's going to buy all the players. Well, it'll be interesting to see actually what his actual job is, because as I said, he wasn't directly involved in always purchasing players. It was more a part of a committee, but then that's very much like how Arsenal are. And if you look at what Simeone does at Atletico, he's a very dominant character, very forthright, very opinionated and stuff. And he is the, if you see who do you associate with Atletico Madrid, is Simeone. Who do you associate with Arsenal? It's Arteta. So maybe it's the fact that he's worked with these strong characters in the past, but also working with senior decision makers. That's maybe why he's a good fit. And I think, as they say in football, the best ability is availability, and he's definitely that. We don't want to be waiting until the summer to get someone in. So maybe the stars aligning. Look, it's like a lot of things in football. Luck. You could be the best directors in football, the best people in the world, for what they're called directors of football in the world, are the ones who get lucky on a couple of purchases like Rodri, like this, or they could be very unlucky, and I think they're much of a muchness, and it's just some things fall your way and some things don't. So, but I think, having someone in, just having responsibility for it is, but it'll be interesting to know what he's responsible for before everyone starts pointing the finger at him for not doing his job, or not doing the things that we want him to do. So, which is often the case in football, that we think we know what they're meant to be doing, and their actual job is something else. But let's see. And to copyright Steph on the North Bank pod, it's Berta late than never. That's all I can say.
Oh my God!
Oh God, so much.
Stop the pod.
Don't worry, it's not mine. I'm happy to steal that from a friend of the pods. Look, okay, so that's Man United done. That's Berta done. So PSV, well, they're done as far as I can tell. But we have a game. We got to play them on Wednesday. I mean, quick question: would you happily forfeit 3-0, knowing that you're going through?
No.
No. Look, guys, Jamie, what you looking forward to? Not looking forward to with regards to this game?
Looking forward to a competition that we're in. That we're active with the chance. Not that I feel we have a strong chance of winning it. I'm not exactly going to put any money on it, but it is genuinely quite nice and satisfying to look forward to a game where there's something on the line, really.
Yeah. Apart from Wednesday. So are you going? There's plenty of tickets available if you want one.
I am not. I have a trip to Manchester in the morning, so and I'm going to be leaving at about 6 a.m. So I've decided that particular PSV game is not one that I fancy going to. It is what it is.
Sorry to hear that. And are you not looking forward to anything as far as the game's concerned?
Not being there, actually. especially since it's so bloody easy to get in. And that's a bit of a big guy. So, yeah, a little bit good to not be there. Not looking forward to otherwise any. I mean, if we just play like that again, to be frank, if we don't play like we did in the 7-1 and instead kind of see what we've seen in general and look a bit lethargic and a bit like we're out of ideas and, kind of seeing out the rest of the season almost, which is the general feeling that I've got around the team at the moment, then yeah, that's not going to be very fun for anybody, is it? Let's face it.
No, indeed.
I have a feeling it's not going to be a classic, to be completely frank.
No.
I mean, PSV, it is going to be somewhat of a procession, isn't it? If PSV don't, maybe I actually want PSV to get a couple of early goals.
Well, yeah, they get a goal in 6 minutes. They get a goal in the first 10 minutes. Bit of jeopardy. It's like 5-0 with 5 minutes to go. Ian, what are you looking forward to? Not looking forward to?
Starts at left back, by the way.
Yes. Well, we'll talk about the lineup in a second. Yeah. Well, we've got lots of options at left back. That's the problem. You might play left wing. With Sterling on the bench still. No, that would be funny. Now, Ian, what are you looking forward to? Not looking forward to as far as the game's concerned?
I'm looking forward to my TV not being at risk of being thrown out the window. I'm looking forward to a stress-free, not having to think about it game. As you say, there's no jeopardy in it. So yeah, it's just looking forward to that. I'm not looking forward to potentially seeing. It'd be a real shame, potentially seeing, a half-empty stadium. I think it'd be a real shame. I understand that we're 7-1 up, but it's the last 16 of the Champions League. The players and the club deserve, I think, full stadium. And I hope now. I'm saying I'm a season ticket holder. I'm not going to be there, but that's because I live in Ireland, and it's, as I said in the last pod, it's 2 days.
Where's your commitment?
I know.
It's Champions League, man. It's Champions League round of 16. It's the pinnacle.
I should listen to my own advice, but I would also it's self-fulfilling because I would be sacked and then I wouldn't have enough money to pay for my season ticket to be there for the other games, you see. But I just hope that it's that the stadium is reasonably full and there's a good atmosphere.
Yeah, I don't know how you did it, but you managed to get rid of your tickets. You jammy bastard.
Yeah, I know. Four of them. I was worried about them. Yeah.
How you did that, I don't know. And also, by the way, I can see why you asked for the show notes before we started. Okay, so I've got nothing to say because you nicked them both. Look,
I didn't even see that.
It'll be Oh, okay, of course. Stress-free game. I'm looking forward to. Interesting to see what sort of team he puts out. For me, it's a Carabao Cup game, third round. Interesting to see what sort of team plays and team starts. And yeah, I'm hoping the tickets do sell and we have a bit of an atmosphere. So talking of the lineup, I mean, is it basically just play the reserves or do we respect the competition and still go for the 2.5 million, whatever it is, win bonus? Jamie?
It's a hard one, isn't it? I mean, I'd like to see a fair bit of rotation, personally. I just think you just might as well. Sterling starts, Tierney starts. Fuck it, let's play Tierney at centre half and put Zinchenko at left back, and let's actually play Tomiyasu in a wheelchair. Let's go whole hog. In fact, that can be Zinchenko's job. Is we'll actually play Tierney at left back, and then Zinchenko will just wheel Tomiyasu around on the right. So yeah, I don't know. I kind of see it as being. I think a bit of rotation is sensible. You don't want to go over the top. It is still a Champions League game, and they aren't much of a bunch of mugs as the second half of last week made them look. Yeah. It would be rather silly, and there is still a game there to be won, and there are people to entertain, etc., etc., etc. But I certainly would expect probably 3 or 4 changes.
Okay.
And it might not be a bad idea to, experiment in the number 9 position in particular, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've written down here Sterling, Nelly, Jorginho, Kivior, White, Zinni, Tierney. We got Chelsea at the weekend.
Yeah,
that I know it's the tyres one. If something went seriously wrong on, people will be throwing their phones at the pitch because they no longer have their their season ticket books. So it's like, yeah, if anything terrible goes wrong. But no, you got to respect the competition. But we have Chelsea at the weekend and bigger fish. So I'd like to rest Rice. Rest up Winery, rest up Trossard. I think rest up one of Big G or Saliba. Rest up Timber. Yeah, so there's even rest up Raya, get Neto in. Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what happens. So yeah, look, they beat they won at the weekend. I think they got a result. Who did they beat? I read their last game was against Herenveen. They won 2-1 at home against Herenveen. There you go. So they're on winning form in the league. Predictions. What do we think, Jamie? Score?
Something relatively boring. Let's go with a 1-1. In fact, a 2-1 to PSV. Let's go with that. It's the first time I've ever predicted an Arsenal loss, isn't it? But I honestly, it just has that kind of thing written all over it. They reclaim a tiny bit of pride by going and winning at the Emirates, and we've not played half the team, and we didn't bother chasing it. That'll do.
Yeah. Fair enough. No, sounds reasonable. Ian?
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with. I think we'll take it relatively seriously. I think I'm going to go with like 2-0 Arsenal. I think you said something there about, and I have written down here. As you said, try something different at number 9, and I'd love to see Martinelli be given a few minutes at 9 on is it Wednesday we're playing, or is it Wednesday? And give it a go with a kind of a get Sterling. I'd love to see Sterling get on the score sheet. But I'm going to go 2-0.
2-0. Okay. I'll go 2-1 because we'll have a makeshift defence, makeshift midfield, and makeshift forward line. So actually, where we're getting 2 goals from, I have no idea. But it's at home, and you're right. I don't think it'll be mugs, but also they'll be focusing on the league maybe and stuff like that. And look, it's interesting. How do you approach a game where you're 5-0 down at half time? It's a tough one. So I don't know how they'll approach it. So they almost say sort of like give up on it, but I doubt they will. But yeah, I'll go for an optimistic 2-1. We'll see. I think it'll just be a very Carabao Cup-esque. We'll see. So look, there we go. I'm still pissed off, and I think we'll be for a while. Even though it doesn't sound like, I think we've had a bit of fun. It's not been too bad. I think we've been sort of, just it is what it is. I think that's where we're sort of settling on at the moment. And Jamie's raised eyebrows, I think, suggest the same. So there we go. So look, thank you for joining me this evening and getting that over and done with. Didn't really want to dwell on this for much longer than we had to, and we move on. So Ian, thank you very much. Tell the listener where they can find you.
No problem at all, Tabs. Always a pleasure to be on, and you can find me on all the social media platforms at ArsCannonPicks.
Okay, thank you very much, and Jamie, thanks for your time and your enthusiasm this evening. Much appreciated.
I'm sorry, mate. You'll find me. I mean, you found me at the bottom of the barrel today, haven't you?
Hey, look, it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, it's just been relentlessly morose, really. It's fine.
It's all good. No, I appreciate it. Thank you for coming on. Always a pleasure. So look, it is what it is, as they say, and we'll meet again post PSV, pre Chelsea, and oh God, I hate Chelsea so much that if we're talking the same this time next Sunday, episode 85 may not happen, but we'll see. We'll see, and look, there we go. We'll get them next time. Let's hope Man United actually become good, and then we'll actually be able to beat them and smash them, because at the moment, the shit version we seem to have trouble against. So look, let's get yourself down to the Emirates for PSV. Loads of tickets. I've got one in Block 7, Row 7, Seat 196, if you fancy taking it. That if someone wants to buy on TX, please do. And, look, until the next time, come on you Gunners.